All right, please explain your amendment to us.
The amendment is basically just enacting what everyone's saying, that it's nonpartisan, and we'd like to keep them that way. So the amendment, which, speaking with Representative Weiss, she indicates she'll take it as a friendly amendment, prohibits contributing any money or making in-kind contributions to any candidate. And it goes on, basically no PAC activity and things like that. So just seems just keeping it clean, and that's the guts of the amendment.
Thank you. Representative Feist to the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Novotny. I think that this is a good idea. It's important that the center is perceived as and is in effect or in actuality nonpartisan. So I would encourage members to vote yes on this amendment.
Okay, and I think Representative Hollins too, and then Representative Frazier on the amendment. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Feist. I'm a little confused about why this amendment's needed. As a 501c3, they're not allowed to provide support to candidates or organizations. So that's my first question. And my second question is, does this prohibit future enactment of something like the NRA Victory Fund, which does donate to political candidates and is, was it a 501c4, is that correct? It worries me a little bit to see future restrictions regarding political action committees being put into our statute, especially when we know the NRA donates a lot of money to a lot of political candidates and political causes.
Representative Becker-Finn.
Thank you, Chair. And putting then in the interpretation of things down the line is sort of, well, how come this isn't in some other bill? And we can run into problems. So I just want to caution us against putting unnecessary comfort language into any of our bills.
Representative Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know if anyone in the room has the answer to this, but is the NRA receiving state funds?
I am not sure we have the answer to that question.
Okay. I would guess that the answer is no. And so the intent here, and Representative Novotny can correct me if I'm wrong, the intent here is to ensure that we're not funneling taxpayer money to an organization under the auspices that it's going to perform a particular task that's in the state's interest, and then those funds turn around and end up being used for political purposes that are partisan in nature. And if indeed there's a fear, which I'm hearing, that that might become a standard, that's a little alarming. I mean, I would think that that's something that we ought to be able to all agree should not happen.
Not to beat a dead horse, but this language specifically says that they are not allowed to establish or associate with a political action committee. So this money is not money that would go to a political action committee necessarily, but we're saying they're not allowed to associate or create one in the future with future money that they might get from private donors, as the NRA does. So that's my concern. You know, when we put a prohibition in here that has no timeline on it, and we're saying for indefinite amount of time, we are not going to allow them to do that, that's something that worries me. Thank you.
Representative Frazier.
I can't state it any more eloquently or precise than Representative Hollins just did.
Representative Curran.
Yeah, just to throw in, prior to being in the legislature, I spent 20 years at a 501c3. I'm very familiar with what the current laws and regulations are. And I have to say that being this specific with one organization receiving money where this is already prohibited by the IRS and widely followed and legally has to be followed, I'd have to be a no vote on this amendment.
Confused, perplexed. Going to ask Representative Hollins if she plans on offering a verbal amendment to give money to the NRA, but we're talking about something that's not in the bill. We specifically state that we're a nonpartisan group, that we're giving this money to a nonpartisan group, $2 million over the biennium. And we can't even put language in that says that we'll follow the law. I asked for a roll call vote.